going? Hey, everybody, welcome to That's Good Stuff, the show where we review pop culture's newest releases. And this week that means Like a Dragon, Yakuza. So this is the adaptation of the Sega series, Yakuza. Mostly, that's how it's known in America, but it is Like a Dragon in Japan till real recently where they switched it up. So this one basically follows the characters that you remember if you played the game, Kiryu, Kazuma, and you learn about his upbringing in the orphanage. And yeah, we gotta be honest with you guys. This show did not stick in our minds that much. It was a real tough watch. We did watch the first 3 episodes of the show. Those episodes are called. If I can find my
1,
notes.
2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. One is called Departure / Return. 2 is called Ambition / Desire, and 3 is called Brothers / Sisters. So I think, Jared, have you played a Yakuza game?
I played 0.
Okay, so that's kind of the prequel
statement.
Yeah, this is based on Kiwami. I don't remember how to say it, but
there's Yakuza like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Yakuza 0, and then Yakuza Yokami like 1 through 3, I think. Right?
Yeah, the Kiwami series, which is kind of a remastered version.
And then you have Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is like the whole other thing.
So yeah, this is based on the Kwame, the first one, but it doesn't really follow the same structure, which is my kind of big complaint with it. I don't know why, like the orphan stuff doesn't come in till like later games. Basically, the first game. I mean, you can't call any of the games like simple. They're all kind of complex. This adaptation is basically Like a Dragon without the fun, because it's basically the cutscenes. I can't say that it's like worse than the game, because this is basically what the game cutscenes are like. It's just like a lot of.
It's without the stuff, Joseph. The stuff is the best part of Yakuza games.
It doesn't have the fighting or anything, so it's just basically you're watching the cutscenes. It's pretty boring. But the first game, basically, we don't start till like the end of episode. Does he meet the little girl in episode 1? I don't think so, right? It's not till like episode 2, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah. So the first game, he gets out of jail and then he meets this girl and he's got to protect her the whole game. So that's basically the first. This one puts all kinds of backstory into it. So the first episode, we see him in the Sunflower Orphanage, which is the thing in the games. They get a lot of the stuff right. So like the town looks like the town from the game. The Millennium Tower is there from the game and stuff like that. So first episode, we're going to try to remember these. So he grows up in the orphanage, and that's basically the whole first episode, right?
We got a thirst for fighting.
We do skip around the time, right? And so I think the orphanage stuff's 1985 or something like that, and it goes to 2005, which is before he's in jail, and then I can't remember when he gets out, present day, I guess. Episode 2 is some of his like criminal stuff. Like this is the Millennium Tower stuff where the Dojo clan like wants to take over the tower, so they need the rights and they gotta knock off this guy. It basically deals with all that. And then at the very end of the episode, you see one of the sisters from the clan. I can't even remember all this stuff, but she's there with her daughter, and they're at a manga shop, and she's like, "Hey, I gotta go get you donuts because you're crying like a baby." And then
they don't have the latest One Piece, God.
And it gets attacked by the demons, and basically that's where that one ends. Kiryu saves her, and that's where that one ends. And then the third episode deals with the sister trying to find the sister, and she's got that friend. I think that's Miho, and so it deals with that, and they like.
I'm sorry, but my Hispanic heritage is going like what?
And it deals with all. Kiryu's barely in the third episode. Well, they introduced what's his name, Goro, and it's actually the voice actor from the game, and so it's like the closest thing.
Oh, that's
About
kind
the
of cool.
Yeah, it's just the closest thing that we get from the game because like Kiryu is not very much like Kiryu of the. He's
Mhm.
kind of small.
He is not okay. He's not nearly as jacked,
Yeah.
and he's not nearly as like flamboyant or like overly dramatic because there's like a ton of like in Yakuza because like Yakuza is like supposed to be like kind of crazy, like just
Yeah,
almost like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure,
Yeah.
but not. I mean, not quite like that, but just
Without the posing.
yeah. But it's just supposed to be crazy, and there was no crazy with this. So.
no, it's very slow. It jumps around to a bunch of characters, which is my biggest complaint. I mean, if you're gonna make a Like a Dragon, just stick with Kiryu and tell his story. We don't need a bunch of other stuff. But
So when we were gonna watch this, or when you guys said we should watch this, I thought this was gonna be about because Like a Dragon for us was like the RPG style one. So I thought it was gonna be about that dude, not
Yeah, so,
Kiryu.
that's Ichiban Kazuka, so he's the star of Like a Dragon. But like I said, in Japan, the series is known more as Like a Dragon, and they changed it just recently to where everything's Like a Dragon now, instead of it just was Yakuza for the first like 7 games or something like that. But yeah, so as I've played like 2 of the original games, I played the 2 RPG ones, and then I play the one that's like where you're a detective. So, I can't, like I said, there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just boring as heck. They took out all the fun stuff.
Just play your arcade games while you watch it, and it'd be the same thing.
Yeah. And they got the voice actor for that one dude. Why not get the voice actor for Kiryu? I mean, he sounds a lot older, so maybe that's why they did it.
Oh, but we can get Johnny on Bosch screaming his head off in the first
That's
episode.
true. So there's a lot of where they could go goofy, and there's some of the background characters are kind of goofy, but they never like totally embrace the goofiness of the series. What are you guys' thoughts? You saw one episode.
I saw the first episode.
And what did you think?
Then I
of that
ran out of
first
time. I enjoyed it. I didn't I love it. But it was kind of just like whenever you watch like an anime live action adaptation, it was kind of felt like that, kind of like that City Hunter movie I watched recently. But yeah, I didn't hate it, but I'll probably watch it like if it's like an 8-episode thing.
Yeah, it's like 6 episodes, isn't it?
It's a little odd. Yeah, it's a little odd hearing Johnny Young Bosch like voice
In the
some
background.
live action. But yeah, I didn't mind it at all. Like, I don't have a huge connection with that game series. I've only played 0, so and a little bit of Like a Dragon. But my gosh, like it takes like 8 hours of cutscenes to start that game, so I never really got into it.
Dude, you should see the second one.
But I might finish this. So,
Okay,
what do you think about?
Well, let me go first because I know how Michael's going to go.
Okay.
Okay, so
My favorite show of the year.
Oh,
that's a lie. Okay, so first episode I actually kind of liked. I was like, oh, kind of interesting. Not as flamboyant, but maybe they're building up to it because they're kids. All the backstory for Yakuza is like kind of like serious and kind of soap opera-y, which like, oh, this kind of makes sense. And then we get to the second one. I was just like, why is nothing fun? What's going on? Why is there no fun here? Why is it all serious? And who are these people? And who's this person's sister? Who is that actually? And
it's hard to keep up with everyone.
yeah, well, I was telling Michael, I was like, the worst part about like Yakuza is like, that's so-and-so's sister. I'm like, who? And so it's just, it got more muddled and more just like, more boring. And then the third one, I don't even remember what happened in the third one, except for like the kids showing up. That's about it. And I was like, okay, cool. It's 3 episodes of, ultra serious criminal organization instead of, goofy fun time side quests and being ridiculous. And like, I mean, okay, like this series is like, yes, it's Yakuza. Like it's a very serious subject, but it's such an odd and funny series. Like there's just so many random crap in it. There's like no random crap in this. There's just it's all kind of boring. So yeah, I mean, I've only played a few. I've never finished the Yakuza game either because they're freaking long. But I really like.
Are they long, or do you get distracted too much, Thomas?
No, they're long. Like I think Joseph put it. The game that stuff happens. It's like stuff the game. That's what you call it. There's just so much to do because this whole world is so packed with these like tiny details, and yeah, it's kind of cool. You get to see. Forgot the name of the district that they're in. Starts with the K.
Yeah, Kamurocho.
and yeah, it's kind of cool. You got to see like a live action version of that, but it just you don't really get to do anything. It's not fun. So
there's a cool thing about that series. Like they say, Kamurocho is like that, or like the locations are very much like what they actually are in real life. Like the Like a Dragon series, like the second one, mm-hmm. They're like one guy that was playing is like, dude, I grew up in that area. I was like, so. That's pretty cool about that series.
Yeah. But it just lacked like all the charm of the video game. So I was just like, okay, cool. Not really interested now. But all right, Michael, go for it.
Oh yeah, so I have zero touchstone to Yakuza whatsoever. Never played a game, seen the trailers, whatever, seems goofy. So I kind of went into this expecting, an Amazon style, more serious show. But I just didn't really get at all why anything was happening. Because they're like, oh, we want to be a part of the game. I'm like, why? And then the game's like, yeah, we'll have you in. Why? Oh, these are our friends. He's going to cut off his finger. Why? It's a lot of whys for me. I will say the show's shot well. I feel like they do a good job with color a lot. It keeps things interesting. They have a lot of like contrasting colors or weird like different like rooms of blues and reds and weird styles like that. So it's shot well. I feel like the performances are well. It defaulted to dub, and then I was going to change it, and then I got really bored, so I didn't change it so I could do other things while I left it on. Because yeah, like you guys said, the show's just boring. It's really boring. It wasn't interesting at all. And then I kept holding out. So the first episode I actually paid attention to. I watched the whole first episode, kept my focus on it, and it got to the end, and I was like, okay, the one thing this show can do, if it wants to keep me in, it can have good action sequences. It could have some good fighting. And he gets out of the prison, he goes up and he gets bombarded by all those guys, and it just wasn't good. The shots were bad. There was one from his back where it just showed like this side of him and a foot appeared here. And I was just like, what are we doing? The guy kicks and there's just no movement with the camera as they're fighting. It's just like still shots and no engagement that I'm feeling. I'm like, all right, you could at least try to make this a little more entertaining. I don't know. So that's when I really fell off. I couldn't tell you what any character's doing whatsoever. I don't know.
That first fight, he spit like blood at the dude. I was like, there's no reason for that.
That was actually that was very like anime kind of feeling, so I didn't mind that. That fight wasn't as bad in the actual fighting area.
The bathroom fight was kind of bad because he would just like flinch and they would fall down. It's like, okay.
But so that was like the one thing I was hoping. I was like, well, maybe it'll be a good martial arts show, but then it wasn't even that. So it just looks pretty in my opinion. But yeah, like we got to the second episode. I have watched that this morning and I have no idea what happened. It's just like I was just doing laundry. I was actually in the room, and then the third episode I watched while meal prepping, and I don't know. I was just so bored. Just had no interest in the characters. Didn't draw me in. They do have a lot of good English voice acting. The English voice acting wasn't bad for dub-wise. I would have normally probably watched it in Japanese if I was way more interested in it. But I don't know. This show's just not for me, and apparently it's not doing well anyway, so I'm not sure it's for anyone. But
hey, Jared, was that the voice actor from Beastars, the guy that did Lego Sheet?
I just know Matthew Mercer was one of the guys.
Yeah, I mean,
and then Johnny Young Bosch, but I didn't notice anyone else.
Okay, because I could have sworn it was that guy. It was like and I like his voice. I was like, is this just live action Lego sheep? Cool.
But yeah.
Yeah, Goro's Matthew Mercer. I will say that third episode was probably my favorite, just because it did get a little silly.
Well, no, okay, see that's the biggest issue I have with this is that it's supposed to be like bombastic and ridiculous, and it's just like it's like okay, you remember like when Xbox did their own version of Bomberman? Like that's what it feels like because Bomberman is supposed to be stupid, fun, goofy, and then it's like it's edgy in a post-apocalyptic world.
It's
like,
edge time.
I mean, yeah, like Yakuza can get pretty like violent. There's some gruesome stuff that happens, but yeah, you gotta like the characters, and they don't really give you much reason to like Kiryu because they keep switching to other characters. They needed. He just doesn't have a big enough presence. I think he's not. They kind of picked a small guy for him, and he's kind of hard to latch onto. So, and I mean that's why I was so like, why throw in all these back stories about the orphanage and stuff right away? Just do what the first game did and have him protecting the girl, and that'd be much easier show to get
A
into.
little more straightforward rather than here's everyone, have fun.
We're doing flashbacks and I didn't like the music either. Like they put in
Sorry, go ahead.
they used licensed music. I just like the Japanese music. Like if they use the Japanese pop songs better.
when they used Mr. Blue Sky, that really took me out of the moment. I
That
was
made
just
no
like,
sense.
There's a lot of weird. There's also a lot of like themes they had in there that sound like at one point I was like, is that Beauty and the Beast? Like there's a weird theme going off, and there was another one that I can't remember what the music was, but there were several that sounded so familiar to other things. Like, what are we doing here? I don't even know what's happening.
I know, and the one time I liked it is when they just used like a Japanese pop song, like one of those old '80s ones, and it's like that was the best part. Okay, yeah, there's not a lot to talk about. Not a lot to talk about with this one, so I don't know. Jared said he might finish it, so he'll have to fill us on.
I don't know. After hearing that second episode, you guys really dropped off.
Yeah, the second episode's rough.
it might get better. I really don't know. I'm just I was very discouraged. But when Joseph said that it got sillier, I might need to rewatch it because I was just like that. So,
it's short. They're only like 40 minutes or something.
Average.
yeah,
It feels like a
long.
freaking
It
hour.
does feel
though.
long.
It
That first
feels
one, I was like,
a
I still
long
have 20 minutes in this show.
Well, no, I was talking to Michael like yesterday. He's like, "Have you watched it yet?" He's like, "No, not yet." I'm like, "First one's good," and then I watched the second one. I was just like, "Well, crap. Okay."
Yeah,
Damn
it
it.
feels like an hour and a half or something you're wasting, but all right, we'll try to fill you in if someone ends up watching it, but you'll have to check that out on bonus stuff. So that's going to be it for this episode. Like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff, and we will see you next time. Bye.